combining just regular inequalities and graphing. Cool. So first step, it says rearrange inequality so that y is by itself. Make sure to flip the inequality sign if dividing by a negative coefficient. So we're going back to that negative Nancy. Remember when it flipped the sign? So we need to see if that's going to happen. We can see it probably is because there's a minus. So I'm going to do the first step right here. 2x minus 5y is less than or equal to 10. And you went from standard to slope-intercept form yesterday, so it shouldn't be too difficult. I'm actually going to Okay, so to get y by itself, what do I need to do first? Same thing as if it were an equal sign, but what do we do first? Not add. If I added 2x, it would give me 4. Subtract it, right? So I'm going to subtract 2x because that way it gets rid of it on that side. Can I combine these 10 minus 2x? No, not the same last name, right? So I bring down this negative 5y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 10. Then how do I get y by itself? Divide, but I'm dividing by negative Nancy right here. So what's going to happen with my sign? This inequality sign right here. It's going to flip, right? Change the other way. So only when you divide by a negative coefficient, the sign flips. And so when I do that, this crosses out, and you get y is now greater than or equal to. And when you put that into ND, you would get 2/5 x. And when you put that into ND, you would get negative 2. So my full equation, I'll write down here. It's a little crayon. It looks like this. So that's step 1. So sometimes it will be given to you in slope-intercept form, sometimes in standard form. So you got to make sure that you get it into slope-intercept form so we can correctly graph it. Now, I know some of you guys use the calculator. If you do, that's still fine. You still can treat this like an equal sign. And so the next part we're going to do is plot the b or the y-intercept. So what is my y-intercept here? Negative 2, right? So even for people who put it into table, you should still get 0, negative 2 as your y-intercept. So you're going to plot your y-intercept. Then you're going to graph the m. You're going to graph the m, which is your slope. So since it's positive 2 over 5, you're going to go up 2 over 5. So we graph the m by counting rise over run. And we always go rise over run right. Now, to just work backwards, I'm going to go down 2 and to the left 5, just to extend the line. Oh, y went down 1. So down 2 over 5. It should look something like that. Now, next one we're going to do is to graph the line. We use a dotted line, so it's going to look like this. We use a dotted line if there's no line underneath it. So remember when we used the open circle and the closed circle? Now we're using different types of lines. So it's a dotted line if there's no line underneath it, and it's a solid line like that if there's a line underneath it. It reminds me when there's a line underneath it, make it solid. So right here, it would be a solid line because of this line right here. Make sure to put arrows through it. The last part is shading. So now, when you guys told me y greater than 2, right, you guys gave me like 4 different answers. So now there's not going to just be one answer. So I'm going to shade above the line if y is being So I'm going to shade. I'm going to shade above the line if y is being eaten, so y is greater than, or y is greater than or equal to, and shade below the line if it's less than. So you're going to be shading, so you can use a colored pencil if you want, or a highlighter, or you could just use your pencil. And so I'm going to change the crayon. And so when I look right here, is y being eaten or is y not being eaten? It's being eaten, right? And so because y is being eaten, it's got to be greater than, so I'm going to shade above the line. All this. So all of that shading are your solutions. So I'll probably ask, okay, what's a solution? And you could pick any point, and that will be on IXL too. You could, or not IXL, Delta Math. You could pick any point, like even 0, 0, right? And 0, 0 would be a solution. So any of those points that are shaded would be a solution. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try one on that packet. So go to the packet that you have on your desk, and let's try another one. This one right here. And so first of all, is y by itself already? Is y by itself already? Yep. So I know I'm going to graph this. So what is my y-intercept? 4. So I'm going to plot my b, or my y-intercept, at 4. Then my slope is -3. You guys plotted yesterday, so you remember that. So it's -3 over 1. So I would go down 3, always to the right 1, plot. And I'm going to keep going. Then I look at this, and is this a solid line or a dotted line?
Solid.
Solid. It's solid because there's a line underneath it. It's literally telling you to make it solid. That just means it includes all the points that fall on this line. And then is y being eaten or not being eaten? It's being eaten. Sometimes we struggle with figuring out what's above the line, and so I always draw a little man right here, like walking on the hill. And so if y is being eaten, I shade above his head. So because y is greater than, I'm going to shade above his head. That's my answer. Cool. See if you can try the next one. Same thing. See if you could try this one right here. Nothing different about it.